Yo, what's good? What's poppin'? It's the one, the only, Ace Boogie, a.k.a. Cam Newton. Yeah, I said that right. And please tune in to the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. Make sure you like, make sure you share, comment, and subscribe. And as I always say, one finger, one pinky, one thumb, one love.
What's up, everybody? What's going on? I'm Peanut Tillman, and this is the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. And with me, as always, my guy, Roman Harper right here. Miami Vice, what's good, baby?
What's up, baby? I'm just really excited for our guest today. A good friend, a colleague, former teammate. And I'm telling you, no matter what he says, we just got to tune in because everybody's paying attention to it. Before we get to all that, though, let's thank our viewers and our listeners, wherever you pick up your podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Please give us a 5-star rating, a review, click follow, leave a couple comments, because this guy right here told me that's how you get your numbers up. You got to leave the comments, right?
No, you forgot something. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and comment.
There it is. So, Peanut, who's our guest?
Hopefully y'all didn't recognize his voice, so I'm gonna read. Hey man, this dude is a legend. Okay, the first overall pick in the 2011 draft. He was an NFL MVP in 2015. Was a teammate of mine. He led us to Super Bowl 50. He is a businessman in the making of iconic Saiga production company. Ladies and gentlemen, Cam Newton.
Yeah. First and foremost, here we go. I got you a cigar because I know.
Appreciate that.
I'm saying?
You come bearing gifts.
Yeah. I can't get you nothing else because you got all the hats. You got all the
finest.
Yeah, so all that's all good always. And I know you're a cigar aficionado. So
yes, sir.
I appreciate that as always. So hats off to you for that one. My first question is, Cam, let's just get out there. You're a Heisman winner. Mm-hmm. You went to the other school. I almost booed you.
Where? Forgot.
Yeah.
Which one you were talking like I went
to? But what was your first impression when you met Peanut? And I know the first impression when you met me. Probably on the field, then versus like when you actually got us in the same locker room.
All right. So I don't know if he even knows this, but Peanut Punch was like and is always a thing. You know, the guy who had this bionic arm.
Big old brace.
Big old brace. I never, why? For so many questions. And it was one practice. And for a cornerback, Peanut was relatively bigger guy than most corners at that time. Very strategic at luring. You know, he knew how to impact and kind of sway. This particular practice, it was in training camp. And, we had not penalties, but punishments when you fumble.
Yeah.
Bro, we was fumbling left and right, but never me. I prided myself.
Yeah.
Outside the pocket, I didn't really fumble a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like while running. Bro, I was running in practice. It called like a QB run. And then all of a sudden, the ball left my arm so explosive. So.
It was just gone.
It was out of there. It was out of there so much so that I didn't know how it left. And I remember watching film, bro, and it was like he hit the ball so vicious and it was so perfect on like the heart of the ball.
Yeah.
And it just left and then it boom. I was like, yo. And it was one of them things like I tried to play it off that like you don't know when the flag or when the whistle blows. So boom, I was running. He punched it out. I never looked where the ball went. I just kept running as if to say like,
"No, it's good. I wasn't even trying."
You know what I'm saying? Like it was over, coach. It was over. But I still had to like do like a lap for a fumble. But it was just one of those. It was an art for like him, and as a inside the locker room, I just remember his professionalism. I think when I look back at that 2015 year. And why we didn't sustain success going into 2016 was a lot of guys. Man, we had Jared Allen, we had Peanut Tillman, obviously Euro, Cortland Finnegan,
Yeah.
On top of the Luke Kuechly's and the Thomas Davises. So for me, that was the thing where guys knew how to practice. You knew the importance of practice and knew the importance of, cohesion as well.
I think my first impression, I didn't realize how big you were, how tall. Like I was just like, damn. It was just like, I was like completely blown away. I was like, damn, he kind of swole up in there, man. And I remember like one time I think you were doing like a quarterback sneak or something like that. And I'm a shit talker in practice. Like we go at it, me, you, TD, like we talk shit in practice,
sure.
right? Competitive talking.
Right.
And I remember you ran in and we hit you. We was like, oh man, I'm getting that. Yeah. I'm getting that. In my mind, I'm like, well, I'm telling you, you're not. But in my mind, I'm like, he might have got that. He got the weight. He probably gonna push.
But those practices, and with me having my philanthropic kind of initiative was C1N and 707 over the last 14, 15 years for me. That's important. Like being able to know your guys in a way where you got to know how to get them going.
Yeah.
I really admired that about not only Rivera, Shula, but McDermott. Like they wanted practice to be tough. They wanted we wanted to mimic game-like energy.
Yeah.
And, for that, it was the Josh Normans, it was the Lukes, it was the KK Shorts, it was the Charles John. Like everybody was really a part of that. And I was probably the person on offense that responded all the time. Shut the hey, you're not like that. And then I need to remind, like, we kind of changed images. When I was playing, I was more like, Peanut. And now when he was playing, he had the dreads, People forget the dread Peanut. You know what I'm saying? But that was this thing.
I would say this. My first impression was like what Peanut said. I thought it was just the pads and the cleats that always stood out because I played against you. I was an opponent way longer than before I was a teammate of yours. And so we saw you all the time. And when I became your teammate, the first thing I tell anybody, and I told Drew Brees this when I went back, I said, I thought it was one way to skin a cat, that you had to be this one type of quarterback because I'd been around Drew my whole career. And then I got to Carolina and I was like, damn, like it's more than one way to be successful and be a great quarterback. Right. Yep. I saw your energy. I thought when you got it going, when you weren't, because some days Cam be like, not really feeling it. Then something had to happen. Then he had to dance and warm up. Then he started getting into it. But it's like,
it's infectious. It was contagious.
I've never seen
it was contagious.
A person be that so infectious to a team. And it's like when Cam was on, everybody felt it. You elevated so many people's attitude, the energy. When you flexing and doing all this, it just made so much more sense. And I didn't realize that until I got in the locker room. Yeah. I thought your gifts were amazing. You gave the best gifts. You had the best personality. Literally, when Cam was on, like everybody wanted to be around Cam, and I'd never seen that before. And I told Drew, I said, dude, if you want to be good, after leaving when I was in Carolina, and I knew what we built in those couple years, I was like, you got to be able to get down on the level with all the other guys. For sure. Like Cam is on the level with everybody in that locker room. Yeah. He has a nickname for everybody. Yeah. It's just like, this is who he is. And Rivera and everybody love him for it. And they encourage him to be himself. And I thought you worked at it. And bro, it was amazing to see you and your full growth because I saw you from a rookie to when we were teammates. And I'll never forget, we were in there and it was like, I think the team was like 6 or 7-0. And everybody's like, man, who's ever been more than 7-0? And Peanut was like, I think we were like 8-0, 9-0. Everybody's like, I've been 6, I've been this. And I was like, I went 13-0. And you were like, we're gonna beat that. We're gonna be 14. And the moment you said, I'm like, dude, I'm with it because that means I'm gonna be here too. Yeah, for sure. And we damn sure went out there and did that. Yeah. So I want to give you your flowers now because I saw you and I continue to compliment you and just, like I told you, I hit follow. I subscribe to you. Yeah. So I want to make sure you know that right now, even though you did go to Auburn and it's a whole deal for me.
But I'll say, look, man, that's been the story of my life. It's like people have always had this curiosity about Cam. Like, is it real? Is it true? Is it genuine? Is it disingenuous? Is that really him? And to that, when I was going through the draft process with Marty Herney and Coach Rivera, they asked me a question about how can we get you to be the best version of yourself, something along those lines. And I just remember me telling them, just let me be me.
Yeah.
Like, just let me be me. If I feel challenged, if I feel like you're trying to take me away from my gift, like my gift has always been the socialism of sports, right? I bring people together. And when you take that away, when you try to suppress it, when you nuke it, when you try to change it, that's when I feel attacked. You know what I'm saying? My ship is under siege. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of energy. And for Rivera, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, all right, kid, we'll do. You know what I mean? One of those deals. And for me, I remember Roman, for you, it was like, it was the obvious. I'm like, this dude got waves, but he like Benjamin Buttons, bro. Like, and then I came up with the nickname, A Touch of Gray. And it was just this. But the thing about you, your energy was always like receptive. And you know how some guys are like sensitive and is not. And then for the longest, I remember in Carolina, like we had characters in the stands. Many. And we had Cat Lady. Were y'all around Cat Lady?
Yeah,
I don't think I remember Cat Lady.
Cat Lady, she would come to practice, and it kind of.
Oh no! I've seen her.
She was in practice, and she would always do her face in that way. Then they had like Panther Man, and then they had the old guy, who was like, really a young guy, but he dressed up as an old guy. And then it took on a whole thing. I was like, who the hell is this Batman? And then all of a sudden, Roman came in the locker room one time and was like, oh yeah, that's my brother. And I was like, what? So like your real brother? He was like, oh yeah, like that's my brother. And I was like, wow, never knew that. But that energy that year has always been something that I had to mimic in business. You know what I'm saying? One thing that people didn't necessarily, I spoke on it, very briefly in one of, the social platforms, either TikTok or Instagram, about in 2015, the dopest thing I think we did collectively as a team outside of on the field success was we had them hoverboards.
It was the biker gang downtown.
Oh my God. Everybody.
We
training camp.
No, this
everything.
Particular time, it was about 15 hoverboards, and everybody was like, it was like a mosh.
It was like a Rough Riders.
This was uptown Charlotte, bro. They calling me, the young boys, like, bro, come out. We all on the scoot. We out. We were deep, taking those no cars on no lanes.
What was it called? Like when it's an assigned time when like everybody dances.
Yeah.
At
a flash mob.
Flash mob.
It was a flash mob. It was
that thing where like we're going into, like, for people not to know Charlotte, it's the banking capital of the South, right? So you got Wells Fargo, you got Chase, you got Truist. At that time, I was there long enough to see the Wachovia building, like all that, BB&T, and we just going, just zooming and guys doing tricks and spinoramas, and then the last thing you wanted to hear was that means your battery low. That means you got to charge up. But everybody was having so much fun, and guys really enjoyed each other.
Yeah,
we wasn't the most talented team, but we were the best team.
Yeah,
and that's the thing where it's like, I know when I look on your career, Peanut, like that Bears team was a very talented defense. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, for you, Roman, like you've had some teams in New Orleans that was like, yo, you guys are super talented. Mm-hmm. But for us in that 15 year, it was like we wasn't like guys could play, but it was like guys was playing beyond their expectation.
Yeah, for sure.
And it came and it stemmed from leadership, and it stemmed from guys just giving a damn about each other. You know what I'm saying?
So staying on that 2015 season, were there any fond memories that you took away from Super Bowl 50?
Yeah, it sucked because that year we was chasing. immortalness.
Yeah.
That's what, like, after 10-0, it was one of those situations like, yo, bro, we 11.
We can do this thing.
Yo, bro, like, we're 13-0. No, bro, like, we're 14. And then after that, I don't know if you guys remember 2015, the only game that we lost, obviously, it was Atlanta. But we didn't practice that whole week. We was in the convention center.
Yep.
Yeah.
Terrible weather.
And then the day we practiced, that's when I got the call that my son was being born. So it was like I had a period and I had to leave. So when I think about it, I was like, yo, if we win this game with zero practice, it was no reps, it was no this, it was no that. I was saying to myself, like, we have to practice, and that was the importance of practice. So when we lost, it was like, man, we didn't practice. Our timing was off. It was just a little rushed. But, you know, when I think back, so many things to just kind of like pinpoint, but, you know, that the ability to say not a lot of teams has ever gotten to 16 wins, like ever. And I remember talking to the offense the night before the game, and it was like, and at that time, the award ceremony had already came out, so I was the MVP. And I remember talking like, yo, bro, like, the biggest joy for this year is to be able to, you know, to say one day we have the greatest NFL team ever. And this was competing with the perfect season.
Yeah.
Because they didn't play that many games.
Yeah.
Like we had the most wins. I remember the Patriots undefeated season. But more importantly, it was one of those things that like that, and that is almost like an unbreakable ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I was like most excited about. And people see the post interview, all these things is just coming to me. At that time, I was like, bro, we blew it, bro. I blew it. I never felt that type of responsibility. You know, I had a very sentimental moment, you know, with Mr. Richardson. And our relationship was extremely private, but so meaningful for, you know, my growth and who I was in Charlotte. Another person who just allowed me to be me, and I could be honest with him.
Yeah.
And that was kind of different, especially for me. Like, I never had a relationship with an older white person.
Yeah.
Like I had with Mr. Richardson, respectfully. And he allowed, like, we would have conversations about real things, like not outside of football. And I remember seeing him before the game, and I believe the only reason why I got drafted to Carolina, I wrote him a handwritten letter. And in that letter, it was like, if you give me the opportunity, I can give you everything that you want this franchise to be. And when he came into the locker room, that's all we talked about. It was like, I told you. Like, I told you, Mr. Richardson, like, I told you I was going to get us here, and we're about to win. And he cried.
Oh, wow.
Like, bro, it was deep, bro. It was deep. Bro, it was deep. So when people think about the sulking after the game, it's just deeper than just that. It was like, bro, I felt like I let people down, that I gave my oath, I gave my vow. It was like, I built this ship, and as the captain, I got to go down with it.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't jump ship. It was just, I put so much on me to deliver that when I didn't deliver the goods, it was like, I'm a failure. And now I look back more mature and outside of that space, and it's like I put too much on myself. I mean, it was so many different determining factors of that game. But it was real lifelong bonds that was being made that year. And that's what I just take away from it.
That season was crazy. What I always take away is like, man, I can't believe like this guy Cam and him and Joe Webb, their little jokes all the time.
Yeah.
Those Euro steps.
Yeah.
Euro.
And then literally we had the whole world dabbing, bro. Like it was old white people dabbing. It was young people that it was a whole.
They didn't even know how to do it.
No, and this is coming from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Charlotte, bro, was the pulse of the sports.
Bro, we was
world.
viral that whole season.
It was crazy.
The whole season.
Taking we were the first ones that were like taking team pictures. These things were all happening, and I give you a lot of credit because
so much swag that season.
You were.
He was leading the trend.
Cam was like, "Hey, infectious." Cam wants to do it. Like, dude, we win it. It was just like
it was so infectious.
Like people just think that Cam loves the stardom. I'm really a social introvert. Like I don't like people see how I dress. I just dress like this, But it's not. I never do anything. I'm not the guy that's standing on the couches in a club and doing this and doing that. You won't catch me in a club. That's not who I am. And I just remember I was getting so much attention that year that I just wanted to hey, let's take a picture. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden it was just like, boom, I was doing a dab and it was like, oh, let's do the dab on 3, 1, 2, 3. Damn. And I was like, oh man, we got something. And then the following year, the NFL has always been labeled the no fun league.
Correct.
And for us to be able to bring joy again, smiles again, and people talk about the celebratory acts, but I'm like, don't talk about that. Talk about how many footballs I gave away.
There we go.
And everybody, it got to a point.
All the offense was doing it too.
Everybody wanted to do it.
Football.
Yeah.
Nobody did. It was like, bro, we got guys. I remember Devin Funchess scored his first touchdown. And then he was so caught in the moment, he gave it away and it was like, I gave away my first football. And he was trying to get all the ball boys. He was like, yo, I don't know what you got to do. Go get my football. And but that thing, is where I sit as a man today is like, don't talk about what you assume me to be. Talk about what I really did and who I really am, bro.
Now, I got a question. Now, this is a sore subject for me. Peanut likes to talk about this more than me. This is Super Bowl 50. So when I show you this play, I want to show you a picture. Our producer, Tom, is going to bring you in. When you see that still picture, what is the thought that goes through your mind? Take me through that play. Because Funch is about to break open.
Hold on real quick. It's fourth quarter. It's about 4:16 left, 39. Score 16-10, fourth quarter. And Devin Funchess is about to be wide open. And then you got, who's the DN? It looks like he's getting ready to almost sack you.
Yeah. No, that was the fumble play. It was read 77 high. And
so double 7 routes?
It was double 7. So I don't know if Philly was still in the game, but Greg had an alert where it actually came from you, bro. So in training camp, we had this read. It was like an angle 8. It was always like an angle 8, like attack his outside shoulder and stay flat. Mm-hmm. In training camp, Greg comes back and he was like, yo, bro, he knows I'm going back inside. So if he stays inside, I'm just going to break it outside. So as the year happened, it was like we turned that route into like a read route. Oh. So he could go in or go out. And I knew Greg's body language as he was running the route. And that's why it was so successful because he didn't even know what he was doing. But I knew off the leverage where he was going to go. So I could always anticipate it. But defenders would bracket him to stop that. That's the only way you could stop it because one person couldn't do it. So he's getting bracketed right now and he's taking it high. So now I'm going to the opposite side. And it's almost like a quarters look where the quarters beater is 2 to a side.
Yep. Yeah.
Like 2 out routes or a short out and a higher out will always beat it because he thinks he has help and he doesn't. And I was about to launch it to, Funches because the safety doesn't have that leverage at that particular point in time. But it was so many different things here in this game that I never really watched a game ever.
Me either.
Never watched the game. I see the clips, and there was other things that I'm saying to myself, definite game changer moment. And it's just hard, man.
Yeah.
Because at that point in time, who was it? That year, there was always a sense of, we gonna
win the game. We just knew it.
You know what I'm saying?
We gonna win. Yeah, it's like,
we gonna win.
You know, especially in Seattle, it's like, oh, we finna win this game.
No, it was after Seattle.
We started to believe.
It was after, the first Seattle game.
Yes.
When we went to Seattle and had that late heroic game.
With Greg.
And that after that, it was just like, we're going to win.
We all believed,
We're going to win. It's just like, it's only a matter of time that we're going to find a way to win.
You think if you get that pass off, we win the game?
The momentum, for sure. And I don't like to talk about, hyperboles or, if was a fifth, we all would be funny.
Yeah.
But it's so many other different plays too. I remember another play vivid with, it was 2 Jericho Cotchery plays, right? And Jericho was the OG on the offensive side. He had a controversial fumble, it was an incomplete pass.
Incomplete pass. He caught it. It was like first quarter. It was very early in the game.
It was that thing where
it's just not going good for us right now. The plays that we have made all year long hadn't happened. Look, I'm complete opposite on this. I'm real emotional. I think the coaches blew this game for us. They tried to do too much. They never adjusted offensively. We allowed 2 people that don't touch the ball to beat us that day, and you can't allow that.
Yeah.
We got to be better about that part of it. Offensively, we played our worst. We put the ball on the ground 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Defensively, we tried to overthink, and we were doing some dumb stuff. I wasn't even playing like I've been doing all year long. I'm all the way mad. I think we totally earned that loss. And if we play Denver, we beat them 8 out of 10 times.
No, for sure. There were things in that game that we had our moments.
Yeah.
Like, we had our moments. I remember Philly had a big catch for us, and he got concussed.
Yep.
So I believe that clip too, that was Britton Burson.
We all the way down.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I love Burse.
Burse is a guy that was Mr. Reliable, but never got the. When I see Puka Nacua, Britton Burson could have definitely been Puka.
Yeah.
Because he was just he caught everything. He knew where he was supposed to be. He was a guy, man. Britton Burson could have played guard and he would have knew what to do. You know what I'm saying? But that whole time gets back to the thing, like, football as a whole is broken down to a lot of determining factors that everybody got to uphold their end of the bargain.
Yes.
And when it was happening, obviously Von Miller is a person where he took over. We didn't have no adjustment for it.
Yeah.
And those guys just got after it. And for opportunities to be missed, it wasn't a winning formula that we was accustomed to that year.
I agree.
For sure.
So after football, you transitioned into something different. Obviously, Rome and I, we're in the media space. Mm-hmm. We're talking, doing our podcast. You're kind of doing the same. You are doing the same thing right now. What made you want to step into this or venture into the media side?
It's funny because I always told my marketing agent, that even during the lockout, 2000, I was like, bro, I do not want to be a sports analyst.
Right.
Whatever you got to do, I do not want to be a sports analyst.
Same.
I cannot see myself behind like a desk covering sports. I had given my life to football. And one of my producers, who's been my longest tenured, I would say, guy who has been with me the longest, David Ricks. I call him Waldo. Like, Waldo was telling me when he first came on in 2016, he was like, bro, you need to start becoming comfortable with monetizing your life in a way that ESPN could not, because ESPN needs access. And everything on the field, the NFL owns. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't discredit you as being a personality outside of the field.
Right.
And you need to find ways to monopolize on that. The locker room interactions, those segue journeys, you know what I'm saying? Like making or having the natural fan feel a part of something. Like, like we had real personalities in that locker room, you know what I'm saying? And
real content.
Showing that's where content becomes king.
Yeah.
So for me, I never really looked at myself as a sports personality. I looked at myself as a culture personality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And guys, at this phase, I don't compare it to the Odells. I don't compare it to the Tom Bradys. I don't compare it to, the Aaron Rodgers or the Patrick Mahomes. I'm now looking at the Dwayne Johnsons, the Mr. Beasts, the Casanets, like these guys who are really streamers or YouTubers or content creators, the Drewskis. And I'm saying to myself, like, how can I learn from them in a manner? Because you can't pigeonhole me no more. Like, you can't put me in a section no more. And the only way you put me in that section if I allow you to put me in that section.
Yeah.
So my content has always been like, yo, Funky Friday is an IP that is funded and owned by me and my company. I never wanted to have an athlete on it because I didn't want to confuse the consumer. Right. I wanted to show the reach of LeBron has given us the opportunity to say we're more than just an athlete.
Right.
And now being on this alignment with people to talk, I've been burnt before. But I also have been in interviews where it's like, okay, you want to talk about the Super Bowl? Huh? Okay. Oh, you want to talk about my fashion? Okay. You want to talk about my relationship? Okay. You want to talk about those are all surface level things. And I'm like, y'all ain't asking the questions that I really want to talk about.
Yeah. Right.
Like, let's get funky. Like, let's like stop being a very safe interview and let's get down to the bottom of it, because it's not what you say or what you ask, it's how you ask it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing that's off limits. It's like, yo, Cam, why you got so many kids? Like, that'll be a little triggering. But it's like, yo, bro, I see how you are with your kids. Like,
what I personally like from the show though is like you speak your mind, but you don't diss anybody. You're giving a true, honest assessment of what you think of this person, this topic, whatever. But you say it with love and compassion and respect all at the same time. Like you really you're not putting anyone down.
No.
But I think that people sometimes they receive it the wrong way. And I love how when you say it, you explain and you back it up with facts.
For sure.
Now, before you have a comment after that, I think what the average human being that doesn't know Cam Newton, and I've got to know you after sharing the locker room and since then just, being normal friends and stuff, but is that I love it because it's your opinion. And because when you come from a place of love, like you don't try and put people down, just try and uplift yourself, which is what a lot of people do.
For sure.
They tear down because it builds themselves up. You don't need that.
No.
And so you just have your facts. You state your opinion.
Correct.
And that's it. It's like, dude, I'm not trying to hurt anybody.
It's just my opinion.
It's just my opinion.
Like,
and why should my opinion get you riled up?
Yeah.
It's just my opinion.
No, it's something where I'm big on intentions. 2024 is my most intentional year.
Nice.
Where I've coined the idea or the vision for me and my content. We got to live in our truth. Live in your truth, no matter what it is. Hot, cold, controversial, like live in your truth. Stop, like in this day and age of 2024, no longer are you going to be able to straddle the fence and be politically correct. Because that's not who I am. That's not the content, how I digest it. It's like, yo, bro, that's how you feel? Explain how you feel. And at the bare minimum, at the worst, we can at least agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Because I had, us being here in Las Vegas, I've had access to a lot of personalities to come on my platform with my sports show, 4th and 1, and talk about the game changer versus game manager.
It's been a whole deal. You started this year. I just want you to know that. You started that.
I know.
And ESPN still trying to get love off of it.
I know. So strategic. Because think about this. I don't know when this is going to air, but this is how people, and I'm smarter than people think.
Yeah.
Playing chess.
No, like real talk.
Yeah.
Think about this. My honesty has created this controversial, some would think controversial kind of thought.
Yeah.
But it's the truth. And think about it. When I study people like Mr. Beast, he has this saying that he says, going viral is a skill. It just doesn't happen. So I'll tell you this. I've coined the honesty to be what it's worth. If Brock Purdy succeeds, I go viral. If Brock Purdy does not, I still go viral. Checkmate. I got you.
You're not lying. I saw you, just another clip the other day on your 4th and 1. Warren Sapp got a little triggered off this whole.
Come on.
I don't know how it touches people's emotions so much. And it's really a true statement.
It's so true.
It's just a true statement.
Like, I'm telling you, bro, like we have to stop getting emotional about the truth. The great book says, the truth shall set you free. And a lot of the things that I say is backed by merit. It's not backed by emotions. It's backed by merit. It's like, okay, when I talk to the team and I say, okay, Christian, okay, Brendan, okay, Waldo, okay, Omari, okay, like, what we talking about? How we getting to the point? And if we're not getting to the point in a very, like, I already go through the analytical things of like, it's almost like breaking the huddle, ready to break. Okay, where's my safeties? Mm-hmm. Is it a shade or is it a 3-tech? Where's the nickel alignment? Where's Peanut in his alignment initially? Because, he going to start up, then go back, and then try to come back again. Just a lot of things that in media, it's no different. I've applied the things that football has taught me now in the real world to be so strategic and knowing, like, when I drop this content, what could happen? The good, the bad, and everything else. And when it's backed by merit to the degree to say, like, this is why I feel the way I feel. It's not just coming out of my ass here. Like, this is just something that I really genuinely feel. And boom. So it's no deny. It becomes undeniable to, he know what he's talking about. Okay,
so I got to ask about your one company, the Iconic Saga Productions. All right, so tell me initially how you came up with that and why in the way you text. Or like, I got to know that too. Like,
my brain hurt when I read your text. Like before you got on, I was like, I don't know if y'all know when Cam texts you or when he posts something, it's like, it takes me so long to read it.
Help us out.
I tried. I hear someone from your team in the back.
I don't know how you get that.
She's laughing. I hear her laughing in the back right now. Like I feel dumb sometimes. I'm like, okay, hold on. This special number, character. I feel like your texts or your messages are like passwords.
And you get the eyes with the 2 dots on top all the time.
How long do it take you to do this?
It's branding, ladies and gentlemen.
I get it. It's hard to read. I be trying to. I read so slow.
I wish I could have, if this camera is on me, this is where, is this hard to read?
No.
How? Because it's the NFL?
No,
because so many people have seen this symbol this year and say, why is this Super Bowl symbol looking like how Cam Newton texts?
Okay.
It's branding, ladies and gentlemen. Usually branding comes by way of either a slogan, colors, or something.
Yeah.
I said, let's negate that. And let's take it a step further. Let's do symbols. Checkmate again. Like people just take me for this person that is like, yo, I'm so intentional.
Yeah.
Where now when people see this, I've been tagged, I've been, looped in so many things. Like, why is the NFL, is Cam Newton the creative director of the NFL? Like, that needs to happen. You know, those things are real life things that I'm saying to myself is like, yo, how can I be a little unique in a way where it forces people's minds to wonder and to think, not only in that way, but also in a way where it's always having a person, why are you doing too much? Then I'll say, you ain't doing enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, but it's an app though. I post my way, download it on Apple device, any Apple device. And it's a keyboard that's,
Didn't even know this. Okay, see, this is why I asked, because I did not know that. Okay, so
I'm stealing your content. I'm doing it. I'm trying to. I'm like, I want to be like you.
I just thought, I was like, I don't even know how he gets all these symbols. I have no idea. I've been reading this stuff for like 4 years. I'm like, dude, I
think I tried to reply one time, and I was like switching between the characters, and it took me like an hour. I was like, I can't do it. I can't.
But
do
it's so easy. But it's like A has about like 6 different ways to write it.
Oh, don't give away all the secret sauce. No, make them go get it.
No gatekeeping, bro. Like, look, E, I, O, all the vowels have about 3+ different variations to it.
That's exactly all this makes so much more sense, because I'll see, you know, you say iconic, but you have 2 eyes, but they're totally different.
Correct.
And I'm just like, I mean, is that German eye? What is that?
Yeah,
like, what is the?
I'll tell you this though. Like, we have 8 people in this room right now, right? If I give everybody a sheet of paper and I say, write your name down or write, I love myself. That simple stanza. We all won't write it the same.
Right.
So why should we type the same? Feel me?
Yeah.
But our brains have been traced back to like, why are you being so difficult? It's not difficult. Give everybody a sheet of paper, the same pen, same sheet of paper, and have them write down, I love myself. Some people are going to write in Romans 10, font 12. Some people are going to write in, you know, all type of different cursive or whatever. And I'm like, bro, we're not going to write the same. Why should we type the same? And our brains are tricked to think that we cannot be creative.
So there was another larger-than-life personality, one of my old teammates, Brandon Marshall. He was on the pod. I think he was on the pod last year sometime.
Right.
What made you want to partner with him with the I Am Iconic Live tour? Where did that partnership come from?
Why not? You know what I'm saying? And I think this was a time, and I've been very vocal about alignment for him. And did I need to do it? No. Did I want to do it? Yes. Brandon Marshall is also a person who have given me so much intel about the space of media.
Right.
So smart. And there was an opportunity that came up for him. He was trying to have his conversation be told on his platform, right? And I was telling him, I was like, bro, in order for you to be heard through a lens of it not being unfiltered, people are going to call cap, or they're going to feel like, yo, like, that ain't it. You got to come on mine, right? On my platform, Funky Friday, and speak your truth. So we all heard about, you know, the situation with
the breakup.
And I was, and still am disappointed. Like, how do you let something so sexy walk out that door?
It was so good.
They
were
ahead of the curve. They were ahead of the curve.
And I'm still an opponent of like, bro, you guys are missing the mark. Like, where will we be if nobody cared who got the credit? Where will we be if ego did not even exist?
Very true.
And everybody involved, Ryan Clark, Channing Crowder, Fred Taylor, Brandon Marshall, Pac-Man, Ocho, like those guys, Shady, bro, talented. They were going to that next phase. As you know, in football, it's harder for us because we're masked athletes. And if you wear a visor, you're even more masked. Yes. It's like you might as well put on a damn motorcycle helmet, you know, because nobody knows who you are. If you're the lucky few that when you walk in somewhere and somebody said, oh, that's so-and-so, you know, not being able to identify you as a football player by the size of your neck, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you got to be a football player, right?
Yeah.
So for me, when I was talking to him, I'm like, bro, I just want to let you know, like, bro, you missing out on the opportunity. And I don't know if it's salvageable at this particular point, but I'm still going to rest my case. Like, I'm waiting for the day that everybody is able to come to the table and just to, you know what, bro? It's not bigger than a relationship.
Right.
And we can still work together, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And, with the I Am Iconic Live tour, it was something also for purposes to prove that we're more than just the stereotypical, hey, let's talk about sports today. Hey, what do we got? What did Patrick Mahomes do? Brock Purdy? Like, what did these guys? Mm-hmm. Like, it was more or less about that, but more about cultural topics, really mental. Brandon was very adamant about, we have to do mental check-ins. He's been an ambassador for mental health for so long.
Yes.
And going through something, suffering in silence should not be your calling. It takes an ecosystem. And integrating music, integrating real conversations, question of the days, and fan engagement or crowd engagement as well. And people don't think, or they will never see that with the helmet on. Yeah. And now I'm able to be as creative as I can be because I don't have, to just be a football player now. Like, I can be free. Like, I could be, able to be as wild as I want to be, or to be in this realm of conservative where it's like, okay, well, today I just want to focus on my logistics company. Or tomorrow I want to focus on my restaurants. Or today I want to also, I got to tap in with Christian and Iconic Saga. Waldo, these different things is happening in time where I'm more busier now by being away from the game than actually being, in the NFL, which I never thought would happen.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
That's dope. So okay, I'm switching topics right now. I've always wanted to ask this question. You got a Heisman Trophy and you have an MVP trophy.
Yeah.
Which one do you hold in more higher esteem? Which one is means more to you? Which one is just like, you know what? This one's pretty cool, but this one right here, this one's a little bit better.
I'll give you some juice.
Give us the juice.
The prestige of the Heisman is obviously more prestige.
Yeah.
But I haven't been to a Heisman event since I left.
Okay.
This was going to be my follow-up. Go ahead.
And it was because they told my dad he couldn't go to the ceremony. The biggest moment of my life.
Yeah.
The most influential person of my life.
Yeah.
Can't share the biggest time of my life.
And they didn't give you a reason for it. They just said
going back to that time, you be reminded, the NCAA was doing a thorough investigation. Mr. Newton, it's best if you don't. Boom. And my dad is similar to me. Any extracurricular distractions, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Son, I would be in a hotel room. And I just remember, like, after winning the Heisman, and I just kept looking at my mom, and she knew. She was like, "Yeah, baby, let's go to the room. Let's go to the room."
So we can really,
because I'm that person. Like, my dad is such a strong figure in my life that he went through the mucks of just a lot. So he sacrificed a lot so I could play.
Yeah.
And if you remember that NCAA thing, somebody had to take a fall.
Yeah.
My dad is just, I'll jump on a grenade, boom. He couldn't come to no games. He was the bad guy. Cam Newton's son selling his son to get money. And I'm like, bro, he didn't do that. That they just had to paint that just to have a cop out. And I'm like, man, my dad ain't no different than LeVar Ball or Lamar Ball.
Yeah.
No different than Archie Manning. No different than King Richard. No different than Ja Morant's father.
Yeah.
No different than any hands-on father, Deion Sanders. And it's like, I just didn't, I still have a hard time looking at that award as something that I just take pride in.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just an award. I never praised awards because it's subjective. It's human beings coming up with an idea that it's like, we think he's the best football player. That don't mean I was the best. But I would say to the MVP, a lot of people nowadays, you know, even walking in a hotel lobby now, you're hearing Purdy. I'm like, bro, my biggest flex is this. A lot of you guys' favorite NFL players just became good in the NFL. Like, I've been good, bro. Like, I've been good for it. I've been doing this for a long time. Like, I've really been doing it. Bro, high school, 5-star.
No doubt. Went to Florida.
You know what I mean?
JUCO, undefeated.
Left Florida, went to JUCO national championship, #1 player there.
Came to Auburn.
Great
for 6 months.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even in, people don't even know, like, I was in Auburn for less than 365 days.
Yes.
So for people thinking about, like, you need this whole body of work, it was like, yo, I was so intentional about, like, bro, I'm here. I'm choosing Auburn because they had 22 seniors. And I knew the importance of leadership. And I said to myself, if I can get a guy not at 16, 17, but a guy like at 21, 22 to understand, like, yo, you trying to get to the league too? All right, let's work. And I knew it would be easier to convince a body of people to commit to something rather than a team that only had 4 seniors returning, 6, you know what I'm saying? So that, and then coming to the NFL and then following up with that too. Now, having a football career that's up in question, probably never to be had again, an opportunity to play, that's where I could just sit back and say, like, bro, I gave this game all of me. I have 0 regrets.
Yeah.
And now I could take that energy and now put it into my children or put it into my content or put it into my businesses.
And so I was going to ask you about the Heisman commercials, but you clearly just told us the answer. So I appreciate that.
But I'll tell you this though, the funny thing about it, I was on air with RG3 and I've always been talking about this. And every time I talk about it, and Omari's not here, he runs my digital side of Iconic Saga. He's like, bro, you gotta stop giving that away. I'm like, bro, you know I can't hold water. Like, bro, I wanted to create a ratchet Heisman house of the misfits, though. Because they have like the Heisman. They got the Heisman house, and it's just like the bougie. It's just like the lawn is manicured.
Yeah. The one that everybody loves.
College ain't like that. You know, you got the Qs, you got the, you know what I'm saying? Like you got Zeta Phi Beta, you got all these different clubs. And I'm like, bro, if we recreated a ratchet Heisman house where now you add Reggie Bush.
Oh, yeah, because they still...
Come on. Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton, O.J. Simpson, Ricky Williams. Like, add the dudes, bro. Like, that's going to put some real entertainment.
I want to go to one of those house parties. I want to go to one of those house parties.
This is what we need.
Let's do that.
But I wanted to create that in a way where you want to do numbers. Because now I've done studies. I'm a real nerd when it comes to like, yo, why does Disney, acquire companies like ESPN?
Yep.
AT&T, acquiring companies, Paramount, and the list goes on. Why is Netflix successful? Like, what are their merits? And it's just viewership. And people don't want to, contrary to what people may believe, people don't pay to see modesty. You don't pay to see somebody be humble. We want to see the dude. I'm going to knock his ass out he going to do what? I want to see that. People pay to see bold. People pay to see conviction. People pay to see like, okay, we know that. And when you study influential people, like real influence, I said they're in a time of influence like the 80s or the early 90s stars. Like Hulkamania.
Crazy.
That's a real following. Kiss. Yes. Playboy. Like those are real things. Michael Jackson, Prince, they had real diehard fans. And now Instagram has labeled people to have fans, but it's like, are they fans or are they just nosy? You know what I'm saying? So building a body of work of now every time a person sees Cam Newton, they know I can draw real emotions from you. Because it's like, man, I hate that guy, man. Because like, why does he dress like that? Like, who the hell does he think he is? And then there's other people that's like, bro, I fool with Cam. Cam authentic. Okay, say what you want to say about him. He gonna keep it a buck. Or as they say, we gonna keep it funky. And that's all it is. I love, bro. Like I don't just say one finger, one pinky, one thumb as a way to just be like love. Like I promote love. I promote like, I don't want to withhold nothing. If I can do something to help you, bro, I want to help. Because now more than ever, especially in this business space, you need people. Mm-hmm. Relationships are key. Yeah. I told Troy Vincent, I apologized, bro, because there was an interaction that happened that I knew, like, bro, I got to be better. He came to my cigar lounge in Atlanta, and I didn't know I was going to say this, and I thought he was trying to eat, because we have a full menu, lobster, steak, chicken, like whatever, small plates or whatever. And I wanted him to eat. Like I wanted him to enjoy his food. And my cousin, who serves as my general manager there, he was like, he's not eating. And this was like 45 minutes after he said he was there. So I was like, whoa, he waiting on me? He's like, yeah, bro, he waiting on you. Bro, I fishtailed out of it. Like, bro, I got to get there. By the time I got there, he was gone. I texted him, he didn't reply. I called him, he didn't answer. I was like, bro, I can't play with people's time. You know what I'm saying? And that day, he made me a better businessman. So now it's like, yo, I got to be where I got to be. And when I'm here, like I gotta be where my feet. Coach would always say, be where your feet are. Because like I didn't want to just do an interview. I don't get excited to do just interviews just to do it. Like I really want people to feel the passion. Like, oh, I didn't know that about Cam. Now I can enjoy. You know, I'm now a fan of him because of that. But yeah, that Troy situation is one of many things that now. I'm not perfect, but I'm getting to that state where it's like, yo, I'm building something great. Yeah. And not taking relationships lightly.
I love that. First of all, you've been highly entertaining. You've been highly educational. Yeah. You have proven to the masses that watch this that Cam does his homework. Yeah. And he did it on the field, and he's damn sure doing it off the field as well. So proud of you for that. Let's talk about the Funky Friday podcast. Who's been your favorite guest? Because you've had some crazies on there. You know what I'm saying?
Crazies.
Some crazies.
Charleston White.
I thought you did a good job trying to reel him in.
You handled that perfectly.
But it's been some crazies. I'll leave it up to you. Go ahead.
Nah, bro, but check this out. Everything that I've done post-football, I have not played a single snap in 3 years. Think about that.
Yeah. And you getting folks on ESPN triggered.
Bro, I have not played a snap in 3 years. And people are still garnering real emotions in regards to Cam Newton. And everything that we've seen has been something that is like, yo, it was well thought out. It was very strategic in how we roll out the plan. And even going back real quick to when I told my agent at that time, like, yo, I do not want to be a sports analyst. It wasn't that I did not want to do that outside of, you know, being around football for so long. It was also, I didn't think a network was going to trust who I was or my intentions.
Yeah, because you be you.
Like, bro, every day I always have to introduce myself, or I'm in a job interview, because people are always like, is he really like, you know what I'm saying? And then they always leave like, most of the time, I don't know. Most of the time it's like, oh, he's a cool guy. But I felt like being on the network, they were going to muzzle me.
Oh, yeah.
Don't wear that. No, I couldn't wear this on.
No, you couldn't.
No, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I just wanted to
maybe
be
you
fly.
could because it's you, but somebody would feel some type of way.
Listen.
Somebody would feel some type of way.
But I'm like, they did it for Craig Sager. You know what I'm saying? So that was giving me hope. But he had his own personality. He had his own exclusives, on the NBA sideline. But I'm like, but for me, every day, I am capable of putting it on every day. And I want to put it on every day. But will somebody allow me to lean into who I am every day? That's the question. But in regards to Funky Friday, I've been able to garner a lot of attention in the culture dynamic with not having access to a lot, right? I just did an event the other day at a celebrity flag football event.
I saw that.
Right? I don't even like doing those things, but my team was like, yo, you have to now start inserting yourself and being at these events. I'm like, Cam, bro, I don't want to do like, boy, if you don't get your ass up there and work, like this is a job now. And it's simple. As athletes, you're used to being hunted. Like, yo, hey, Peanut Tillman, do you have a representative? Like, we want to offer him blah, blah, blah. Hey, Roman Harper, we want to give you the hunted. Things come to you. They hunt you out to get. Mm-hmm. As an entrepreneur, you're the hunter. You have to insert yourself. You have to be these places. You have to, hey, just put me in a room and I'll figure everything else out. Like, you have to be in the places, show the faces. Like, who's that guy? You know what I'm saying? And most of the time, they're not going to just give you something if they don't believe or are pitched for you to do that.
Yeah.
So now for me, it's like I have to do these things because they don't really know what I know. And that's that. So for Funky Friday as a whole, it's like, yo, I've realized that just like everything, when I do my research on the Jimmy Kimmels, the Oprah Winfrey's, I've always said I wanted to be the modern day Arsenio Hall show.
Yeah.
My next guest needs no introduction. The Joe Rogan show, like the people who are able to really curate conversation. It's all predicated, the success in the large part is predicated on the talent.
Yeah.
And I've been able to get my rep. Like, people don't realize that Funky Friday started in New England as an outlet for me to talk about anything. And it started in the back of a car. So Foxborough was 45 minutes, no traffic, or 38 minutes with no traffic from Foxborough to Boston. I wanted to stay in Boston.
I don't blame you.
Bro, dry. It's just ashy out there. It was just, if it wasn't for the Patriots, bro, it'd be a little sketch.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And that town comes alive because, we've all heard of football college towns. Well, Foxborough is like a football NFL town. Mm-hmm. And as I was going back and forth that transport, I was saying, like, I got things in my brain that I'm suffering in silence. Like, I'm going crazy. It's just all about football. Like, people don't really know me here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really I don't have the time to express myself in that way. Cause even with COVID, you had to be 6 feet apart.
Right.
Every other desk, And I was like, you know what? I had my company at that time was contractor based, meaning I had good relationships with people and I would pay them on a contract basis. So with that, I said, I'm gonna start talking. Boom, boom, boom. And after the, stop playing, I didn't want it to, no disrespect, but I didn't want it to kind of be like the podcast thing. Mm-hmm. Like if you see my production, it's a show. Like Mike's set comparable almost to Jimmy Kimmel, Arsenio Hall.
It is.
Oprah Winfrey.
Got great lighting.
Like those things, I'm like, yo, I don't want people to look at this as a podcast. I want people to look at this as a show. So over time, I've been able to garner a lot of pro bonos by just guys like, yeah, I'll come on the show. Charleston White, the same thing. He was like, bruh, what's your budget? Bruh, I ain't got no budget, bro. It's like, if you want to do it. And if not, bro, we'll find ways to align. He was like, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And he comes on. It's crazy. I mean, it was so many doggone.
That's an
I done got
understatement.
so many people paid off of using my AI, content to put on their platform and then get them views and likes. So it's just like, bro. But that was the reason why I wanted to do it. I wanted to show my reach. Yeah. I wanted to show my versatility, and to be able to not only do that, but also when you think about Krishan Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A person where you may not know who she is or her music is, she has a following. So much so that I've never seen anything like it. When I was about to do Krishan Rock, nothing personal, but she goes on live. What's the most, when you go on your live, like if you were to pull up Instagram right now, how many people do you think you can garner?
Bro, I hope a couple thousand or something.
Just give me a number.
Man, let's say 200 people. I don't know.
200 people.
Yeah.
Peanut.
I'd say $150. I'm saying 150.
150
Because I'm not.
And it spanned like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Bro, I seen like her phone, she had just got her hair done. She picks up her phone. She goes live. Bloop. And I look at the top right, and you know how the Instagram works. It says live, and then you see the number. And then, bro, her feed was just like, it was like a NASDAQ, like Dow Jones. It was 60,000 people in less than 6 minutes.
Damn. Wow.
And I said, you're able to, like, people are interested in that. Like,
whatever she got going on.
Oh my goodness.
Just whatever she got going on.
60,000. And I looked over her shoulder, like in a way where I seen she was on live. So I'm like, oh, and then I also looked at the top right and I said 60,000. Like it went from like, yo, to like, no, hold on. This thing. I'm sorry, I can't curse, but
Podcast, you could.
like, you got 60,000 people? Like, she's like, yeah, is that bad? I'm like, I've never garnered 60,000 people in 5 minutes. It was just like a bloop. And then boom, she comes on and it was one of those things that is like, yo, I think I'm figuring this out. Like, I need more of hers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know how to garner emotions. Because this is what people don't know. Funky Friday, I've been vetted. I've had the top of the tops. I had the, like, man, I need to get a episode out. My little brother, come on, let's talk. And he's able to bring an emotion out of me. My older brother, let's talk. He's able to get an emotion. My dad, my mom. So I'm using anybody who would talk to me just so I can build my reps up. You know what I'm saying? So now when I'm talking to Charleston and he's saying some controversial things, F Deion Sanders. Really? And now me being a student of the game, a person who, I just absolutely love and really idolize, Dan Patrick.
He's really good.
Bruh, he's one of those guys that like, I felt like, like shaky. And even that's what Super Bowl access gives you access to kind of talk to him. And I was like, man, Dan, like, you are the GOAT for real. He was like, I want to help you. And we're having these conversations, and it's like,
That's dope.
Stop asking closed-ended questions. Ask open-ended questions. Like, 60,000 followers or 60,000 people. How does it make you feel? Are you scared? It's short. It's just like, damn. God. You know, and it's more than any, the NFL and the NFLPA does a great job of trying to do initiatives, but I always say, like, you can lead the people to the water, but they gotta want to drink. They gotta want to take these seminars serious. You know what I'm saying? But when you have real relationships with people that's like, yo, like, you've been doing this for 30 plus years, and it's a skill, it's an art, and I'm so interested into becoming and perfecting my craft that I will be the first person to tell you, and I say to every person, I hate saying employees, people who work alongside with me, I tell them, you're not here to do what I say. You're here to make me do what you say, and you have to have merit behind it. Why should I go to the Super Bowl? What's the plan when we get to Super Bowl? Who's going to be doing what during Super Bowl? Who's editing this? What's the deadline for this? Like, those type of simple questions leads to long-term success. And it's the consistency, and it's the curiosity, and also the want to, like, and I got to say it this way for people to understand it. Like, people have to give a
Yeah.
Like, you got to give a bro. Because if you don't give a like, that energy is going to show.
And they not going.
You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things that was like, bro, if people know that you care, that measure of loyalty from the viewer to the consumption person, to the consumer,
Right.
They know, oh, I got to tune in to Funky Friday because Cam going to bring something out of somebody that I already know. He going to speak for, like, he for the people. Or I can't stand Cam. I know he going to say something crazy. Let me tune in a way. That. And I'm not going to ask the surface level questions. I'm not going to take my time to say, like, you know what, Roger Goodell, like, or Odell or Tom Brady or Giselle, like, I'm going to do my research, and I'm going to find out how to get to what I really want.
Yeah.
And that's a skill. Because really, I felt this when I was being interviewed, and still am interviewed. It's like, why I dress the way I dress? Okay. I was raised in the church. My dad made me polish his shoes. I knew how to iron at a very young age. I started picking my clothes out to eliminate any responsibility for my mom. So, yeah. How would you describe your fashion? Layered fashion. Who's your favorite brand? I thrift. Like, you know, like, those are things that I can go on your podcast and find out. I can go on another person's podcast and find out. I can go on another podcast and find out. And in order for you to be different, you got to prepare different.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like, take that time. Like, take that, like, yo, boom. Every time, like, everybody always asks on my teams, like, you want to see the questions? No, I don't. Like, you scan the questions and you see it. When you operate on purity and love, the intentions is always going to be pure. I want real emotions. Like, I want, like, yo, 2015, man. And then that first thing that I just plucked from the air, like, I want to tell you that.
Yeah.
And that's how you just build a body of work, bro.
Yeah. Working in TV space, that's always the best way to do it. Like, and I'm really bad at it because a lot of times I'll end up having a conversation before we even had a conversation because I'm like, just like to just talk. So,
yeah.
I got to be more intentional about that.
But stop it, though. Stop. Like, I've caught myself doing that.
Yeah, you got to stop.
He don't.
But this
you be like, Rome, stop. Just like, why? I'm just.
Like, what do I do with my hands? You know what I'm saying? It's
like,
one of those
save
things.
it
Like,
for the show. Save it.
I really be talking, and I'm a writer, so I write a lot of things down. And if I can't write, I text myself. I text my other phone, and then so when I go to my phone, like, I see what my notes were. And if I can't write it, I say, no. But then I text myself just to remind me. So when I go back on set, I can ask that again. And it trains your mind to adapt to the way to have more retention to that. So.
Yeah. So this is the last final question. Clearly you've had success on the field and off the field.
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore, who are the 4 people in your life that have helped you get you to where you are right now in 2024?
I got a lot of kids, so I can't name all them. And because Mount Rushmore 4.
Yeah.
Man, I had 4 in
you can put
2019. Man, I would say obviously my children, but my children is different than my family.
Okay.
Right? Like my children, I think they know me the best.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, hey, sit y'all behind down. They can digest that and say, Daddy, you know, and they're like that. And they also can distinguish like, oh, no, Daddy ain't playing.
Yeah, because that scared me. So that was like, oh, Dad's home.
It's one of them. Yeah. I'm telling you, bro.
I was finna go clean my room. I was finna go make my bed. Like, damn,
no. It's like, oh, Dad's home. He surprised me.
Yeah. And I got this thing, bro.
Like, damn,
look, my girl, bro. Man, check this out.
Go do the dishes.
Look, it's this thing in the house. Hey, you want them thighs popped? And my girl, she'll look at me. Man, we done been together for 4 years and I ain't seen you pop a thigh yet. But it's just the thing. Like, hey, you want the thighs pop, boy? And like, no. And they know me. And it could be a joke or it could be like, I ain't bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I would say my children.
All right, that's one.
My family. Now that's a whole melting pot too, because that's like my dad, that's, my mom. And it can kind of go into like their friends and close ones, because I believe you are a byproduct of who you hang around the most. Not where you come from. It's who you hang around the most. And I believe in family. I believe in, really being understood. It's such a great feeling to be understood. Because you don't have to say anything to be understood. You don't have to, use anything outside of the body language to be understood. Jerry Richardson, because he took a chance on me, But before Jerry Richardson was a person, he always said, Cameron, make sure you save your money. And make sure, like he had these pillars.
Yeah.
Harmony is important to me, Cameron. If you don't have harmony, you don't have, like, what's harmony, Mr. Richardson? Making sure everybody's on the same page. Everybody's ego can get involved. Like those are the conversations that we have. Mm-hmm. Cameron, yes, sir, Mr. Richardson. You got a girlfriend? I think so, Mr. Richardson. Does she love you? I think so, Mr. Richardson. When I was your age, Cameron, I was living in Los Angeles, California. And he, man, we would, you ever
I love that he calls you Cameron.
Like,
Cameron.
That's a great impersonation. It was one of the weirdest things that it was like, and like, we was having these moments in his house where like, it was kind of sketch. Yeah. Cause he had like get out maids and it's like, hold on, like this is real. Like, this is real money here. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then, when I'm coming out, I was like, I'm the Fresh Prince, you know what I'm saying? I'm walking around like I want to hey, let me get that lemonade, Miss Rhonda, you know what I mean? She was like, okay, Cam, you can have a lemonade, and would you like your cookies too? It was like, nah, just make the grilled cheese. Come on, Mr. Richardson, let's go in our spot. It was one of those things, and I think that that's what he liked the most, because everybody kind of gave him that, like, can I do anything for you? Like, I was so naive that it was almost like brilliant. Like, I didn't look, man, hey, shoot. what we need, man. In the draft, like, bro, we need some dog. Like, and he's like, we need some dogs, Cameron. What's a dog? And we're like, man, go get it. Like, those things was happening in this mansion. And he taught me the core essence of people. And those pillars, harmony was the biggest one for him. And he would always revert back to when he left the NFL, because he was one of the only owners who actually played in the NFL to have a team. And he got to that place because the NFL was not the NFL that we know today. So he had to have a job to pay. He played with Johnny Unitas. Yeah. And he wasn't getting paid enough to sustain his family. He was like, Rosalind, Miss Rosalind Richardson was, pregnant at the time. I believe I'm remembering the story right. And they had a baby on the way. I can't support my family if y'all don't give me, like, he was representing himself like, bruh, give me $350 and I'll come work. You know what I'm saying? It's like they didn't allow him to do it. So he had to go make money. And now him owning a large majority of Bojangles and fast food restaurant chains is something that is essential. Also, so that's three.
That's three.
The fourth one, I would say Brad Francione. Brad Francione is the head coach of my junior college. And JUCO for me was a time of evolution. Like, I found myself, and we was just talking the other day about like coming out probably with a docuseries of like the creation of Cam. Because for the longest, people called me Cameron on TV. Like, when I was at Florida, Cameron Newton, like, that's how they
know that
introduced me. Yeah. And then by the time I got to Auburn, it was Cam Newton.
Yeah, it was.
So that time in JUCO, I created this person. It wasn't that I created something. I unlocked. There was an awakening in me that I was battered going in. I was as confident leaving. Because I was so comfortable being by myself at that point. Yeah. I thought I needed cliques, I needed groups, I needed people to kind of like feel like, because when we was at Florida, think about this. Joe Hayden, Aaron Hernandez, Marquise Pouncey, Chris Rainey, Carlos Dunlap, Major Wright, Ahmad Black. And that was just in our class that graduated early, not everybody else. We were always together. So when I left, I didn't want to leave Florida. But the main reason why I was going to Florida was not happening. I loved the team. I loved how I was being developed. I just wasn't playing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I wasn't good enough. It was like, bro, the greatest football player of our time was playing at that time. You know what I'm saying? He was like the God sent Messiah, Tim Tebow. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I did not want him to get hurt for me to play. That was what my spirit was not easy with accepting. Mm-hmm. So I had to leave. I was like, bro, I don't want to have this person. He's so good of a person, of a human, the world saw. But even I seen how he worked. I seen how he prepared. And I know how he handled the, not scrutiny, but the managing of, like, people expected a lot. So leaving Florida, Brad Francione was the coach who gave me that opportunity. Without Brad Francione, I don't know if the world knows Cam Newton like they know Cam Newton. Because in JUCO, you only get 4 full scholarships. Full scholarships is like first semester, second semester, and they bust that down. Like, out of that one full scholarship, we can get room and board or like other different perks. They were scattering it out like, hold on, you ain't gonna get the books, but you gonna get the board. We gonna give you it was crazy. I was the only person that got the full scholarship. It was like, wow, and to look back and think like, You gave me that. And it was hard. I was like, man, where else was the money? Because I went from a college institution, like, bro, Pell Grant was Pell Grant. Like, I got...
That was a lick, boy.
What, $2,200?
That was a lick, boy.
I was like $1,200. I was way before your time.
Oh, my goodness. Bro, I looked at that money, bro, and it was spent already. Bro, it was spent. Man, it didn't make it to the weekend, bro. That mentality.
You got the only one.
Bro, we went to the mall.
No financial literacy.
Like, bro, we got 400 more days for this money to stretch, man. But yeah, man, Coach Franchione gave me the trust that I needed. And not to bring this card in, but I never could trust a white person until him. Because I only seen white people in the way of authority figures, teachers, police officers, coaches. And Coach Franchione just unlocked this, like, I can trust him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In a way that's like, no, Cam, like, he gave me this book. And I'm not a reader. I'm a documentary person. Always been that way. He gave me this book. He was like, I want you to read it. And I was like, Coach, I don't too much like reading.
What's the name of the book?
I cannot remember, but the structure of the book was bylaws of life. And it was simple. It was just like I want to say like 500 pages, but every page had another bylaw or a rule. Something similar is like...
So very quick, easy.
It was an easy, simple read. It was like, always wear a watch, because while you wear a watch, it shows people that, you know, this or that. You know, always make eye contact when you shake hands. When a man approaches, it was one of those things that he was building a man. That's not to say my father wasn't trying to do the same thing, because my father has always been that person. But, you know, hearing you got to do better from your dad and hearing you got to do better from your coach, it's almost like two different things. Like, you receive it more from your coach than your dad.
Yeah.
Like, my dad was always trying to do these things as best he know how, but he was like, son, like, I bust my behind for this family. But when I got around Coach Franchione, it wasn't more football than him investing in me. And he was probably the first person that gave me confidence and acknowledged that, Cam, you like, people like you. And that's a superpower. Like, I've never had a player that people are drawn to. And I remember telling, he's like, man, the way you tell stories, it's like captivating. And I don't know where I got that from. It was just like, just finessing. Like, my dad is a great storyteller too, but those things, I just love people, bro. Like, I just love people. I hate school, but I love the people in the school. Yeah. Like, it was the instructor teaching the course. Like, if I liked her or liked him, it could be trigonometry.
Great class.
I loved it. Like, it was like, Cam, what's up, man? Let me tell you about this, algorithm, blah, blah, blah. All right, Mr. So-and-so, like, we're going to talk about it. It could be PE. I hate PE. And I learned that too, is like, even with coaches, like, Coach, we ain't going to work. Like, you don't know how to talk my language. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to teach you though. But yeah, so my children, my family, Mr. Richardson, and Brad Franchione.
That's what's up,
man.
You blessed
awesome.
us.
Yeah.
Cam, man, I gotta be honest, bro. You over-delivered. You over-delivered, my boy.
You brought it.
Once again, I'm not surprised. Yeah. This is who you are. This is who you've always been. And for the listeners, I need to remind you, number one, after this Super Bowl rolls out, checkmate. All right. You know what I'm saying? Number one, checkmate. You know what I mean? All right. Some other things, the year of being intentional, 2024, Cam Newton, checkmate again. Bringing it consistently, doing your thing, my man, dude. I'm so proud of you. Continue to do you, man. And just really blessed for being who you are and blessing us with your time. But I got to thank all the viewers. You about to say something, I know.
Yeah, bro. Like, this was even before a cigar and some espresso. Just imagine if we was able to, like, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Maybe you'll have to bring us on one of your Funky Fridays.
Checkmate.
Okay, there you go.
And there you go. It's simple, bro, So thank you for giving me this opportunity, man. And allowing me to grace you guys' platform in a way. And have fun.
Hey, man, thanks for letting more of the NFL family see you outside the helmet, because we only saw that part for too long.
Authenticity.
You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, man. They're going to be
true,
thankful
authentic
too.
self.
Thank you, man. Hey, for all of our viewers and listeners out there, man, give us a 5-star rating. Comment, share,
like, subscribe.
There you go.
There it is.
4.
Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Those 4. Those 4 pillars.
Like, subscribe, comment, share.
That's it, baby.
Bro, it should be encrusted in your mind.
It is now. It is now. Checkmate, baby. We out of here.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm Peanut. That's Rome. That's Cam. Hey, this is the NFL Players Second Acts Podcast. We out.